All right, new segment this week. Let's get the crew here right away. Hello, Kristen. Hello, Dame.
Hello, Pete.
Hello.
I texted you both last night, and we have a new segment that's debuting today. I don't want to get aggressive in the language here. Is Pete a jerk? Let's just call it that. Is Pete a jerk? And it's a specific situation, so don't answer universally, Dame, like you did via text.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Okay, here are the rules. I'm okay hearing, honestly, that I was in the wrong. I'm okay hearing I was in the wrong because then I won't do it again.
I have no problems with that.
Okay. However, if I was not wrong, I don't think anyone's right. I'm either wrong or not wrong, but I doubt I'm right. Is that fair?
Sure.
I need more context.
Okay,
yes.
so I will tell you the scenario, and you guys make judgment and ask whatever questions you need, and I will do my best to be objective here.
I love this segment already.
Okay. Dave, you've been waiting years for this opportunity.
It's great.
Okay. And do you think we should just go wrong or am I a jerk or a scale of jerk, or what do we do?
Well, let's
lay it out here.
Okay. Some of the details don't matter, so I'll just give you whatever.
Okay.
I was supposed to check into a hotel this evening. Okay. It's a Friday, no one cares, the 10th, in another city.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my plans, I am not going to do that, but instead, Mrs. Planner is going to be checking into that same hotel room. Okay. So for those that have stayed in a hotel room before, you note that when you check in, you give them your name, you have a reservation, let's see your picture ID, you got to be the same person. Right. So I'm anticipating, because of other things going on, there's going to be a moment where Mrs. Planner gets to this hotel and says, I'm checking in. They say, we don't have that name. We have this name. And then it's a cluster.
Yes.
Right. Or it's
100%.
bad.
Yes.
Happens. Yes.
So I'm like, this is can I get time out on my own story? I'm not even into the story, but I think it's an important part. Dame,
Continue.
You know me to know that of the things I love in my life the most, at the top of the list is problem solving.
Yes.
Okay. At my core, I am homemade Rice Krispie treats and problem solving. That's who I am as an individual.
Yeah.
And by the way, thank you for neither of you when I said the things I love most in my life. Thank you for neither of you saying yourself. That was very nice. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So I call the number of this hotel. A person picks up, and I explain the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And the person says, oh, I see this reservation was made through an outside site because of the sports event that's down there. But now once that happens, you don't actually have access to the site anymore because it's like a block of rooms. And I was like, okay, I understand. And I said, here's the challenge. My wife is going to show up there 24 hours from now, because this was yesterday afternoon. And what I'm hoping to do on this phone call is identify myself, give you my confirmation number, give you my rewards number to show you my clout, and just have a note in the system that this person can stay there, or just add them to the reservation. Are we good so far?
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Person says, I can't do that. I am not allowed to make changes to reservations that were booked on the outside. It's like, I hear you. That's got to be frustrating. But the good news is both of us are here to solve this. And by the way, at this point, this is my tone. It will go a different direction. But right now I'm like, hey, that's okay. That's frustrating for you. I hear you. You know how we talk around here at Your Money Line.
Felt found. There it is.
I hear you. Let's just solve this problem together. Right? Is what I said. And I was like, so my wife's going to show up, like maybe just a post-it note. I was like, oh, are you on site there, or are you at a call center? And the person said, well, I am the reservationist here on site.
Wow.
Okay. Like, okay. I was like, all right. It's like, just write down this confirmation number, my name, and my wife's name, because you can't do anything digitally about it, and just put it on the front desk. And she said, we have rules. And I was like, I love rules. I'm a big rule follower, but I'm a problem solver. And you and I both have a challenge. We both have a problem in front of us. And she was like, I can't get into the system. I was like, okay, I hear you on that. What about this? When I show up tomorrow, can you get in the system? Yes, I could get in the system then. Okay, well, can we just solve? And then I'm just like, I'm frustrated at this point. And I'm like, hey, we're not collectively using our brains here. Like we're not, like we have a problem that both of us can solve in this moment. We're empowered to do it.
You said that?
Yeah, I did. And so the person got upset and they're like, I'm sorry, I can't help you unless you want to talk to a manager. And so I was like, you know what?
You Karen'd
I know they asked if I wanted to talk to them. And then I was like, yeah, I'll talk to your manager. So then of course they put me on hold forever. And meanwhile, on my phone in that moment, the confirmation for the check-in for the stay pops through while I'm on hold. I'm just messing on my phone. I hit in and I change the name.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not from the group. It's from the hotel chain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it. And I change it and just hang up and it's over. So the question in front of you, am I a jerk? And I'm willing to take whatever comes from this. Who wants to go first? Guys, please. You guys are fighting each other to say who's
0%. You are not the jerk.
what?
Oh, yes.
No,
Okay.
no way, shape, or form.
Let's let Kristen go first then, because I feel she's got some things.
Well, if that's the policy, like this person can't do anything about what policy is. What were they supposed to do?
But by the way, can I just say my goal is to not call the other person the jerk here. That is off the table.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am not looking for me to be right and this person to be wrong. I'm saying sometimes as humans in a business situation, we find ourselves encountering a challenge. We are empowered to solve those challenges with simple solutions. That's life. And I hate when we sort of bow out of that directive.
Pause. But the first place that my brain goes to, and maybe this is because my algorithms on social media are different than the two of yours, which is this policy rooted in a potential safety concern? Is where my head goes. Is like, does this policy exist to make sure that someone doesn't gain access to a room? And I think there are situations where someone's information could be compromised. A hotel could be called and a name could be added to a room that shouldn't be added to it. So like, I get the policy. I'm not saying, I don't think that to say you were a jerk is kind of extreme. I don't think that like you were just trying to find a problem to a solution or a solution to a problem.
Now.
But I'm not backpedaling. I'm just saying that I get where this person was coming from.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said about the safety thing, because I thought that too. Dame, here's where I'm at. If I booked through the website, their website, the hotel chain's website, the person could have solved the problem. But because the person was locked out, then that person felt like the problem was impossible to solve, in which it actually wasn't possible to solve. It just took two people to figure it out, because it doesn't, that's where I.
Yeah.
But okay, so then my other thing is you've traveled a lot and you know that how general check-ins like work. Why not just wait until you got the check-in information and then change it that way instead of calling and getting a person involved?
Because I tend to think, great question and totally fair. And by the way, it ended up being the solution.
Right.
Number one, I never changed the name on a reservation alone, just like who's checking. I've never done that. I didn't know you could do that. And by the way, this hotel chain's app doesn't actually work. You can't log into it. It is a functional problem. So the second thing is I'm like, who solves problems? Humans. So that's why I called. This is a small town in a little area. And I was like, let's just be humans. Dame?
Checking into a hotel is
annoying,
frustrating, especially when you have family, your wife and your son arrive at a different time than you and daughter. And if the name's not right, then they got to try and call you and confirm that, yes, you're trying to check it. It's just way too complicated. And if there was an easier way to make this process smoother, I would likely try and give that hotel chain some of my business, because just like you, Pete, my family spends a fair amount of weekends on the road.
Yeah, and we'll move on to an actual radio show and podcast about money that we have collectively as a family here. I think about the people we all work with, and I think about how we try to empower people to make decisions around problem solving, and I just think I'd love to be on the other end of that because that wasn't lovely. I mean, it's, I don't know. Anyway, okay. I had another cold open that I wanted to do, but don't worry, it's coming later, and it's probably stupider. So let's do the show. Kristen's got an amazing question today that came in. Are you going to read it, or is Dan? I just pulled up the calculator app on my phone.
Again?
I don't. I have problems. In 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And here's what we'll do. We'll answer your question on the air sometimes, or we'll just complain about inconveniences of personal travel. Joining me, as always, is miscellaneous Kristen Elanius. Hi, Kristen.
That's me. Hello.
And Damien, get her done. I hate when people call me that.
1,000,000%. But something just hit me. Did you ever think that if people don't listen to the first 15 seconds of the show, they don't know how to send us an email question? We usually only say it once a show.
Should I say it more or say it less?
More. We need more questions.
Okay.
More questions.
Ask Pete at petetheplanner.com.
Thank you.
Damien and I share last name, and there was this time in the early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, in which Larry the Cable Guy was doing his get her done stuff. And so people would, I'll speak for myself, Dame. People would be like, Peter, get her done. And I'm like, can we not do that, Dame, right?
All the time.
It's the worst. All right, Kristen, we have an email. Can you read it?
Yeah, I can.
Will you?
I will.
Okay.
There's no greeting. So it just says, I'm financially stable and starting to think about planning my wedding. Since wedding season will be upon us, I'm already mentally counting the dollars I'm going to be spending on other people's weddings. While I personally am in a comfortable position, I'm concerned about the financial impact my wedding could have on my family and friends. The expenses they might face, like travel, other accommodations, bridal showers, bachelorette parties, wedding attire, gifts, they're significant. I want my wedding to be enjoyable for everyone, but I'm worried it might be a financial strain for some of the people I care about. How can I plan a memorable and beautiful wedding that is also considerate of my guests' financial situations? What can I do to minimize their expenses without compromising the spirit of the day?
Signed, Kristen. Kristen, is this about you?
This is not about me.
Are you planning a wedding?
I am not planning a wedding.
Okay, I know you're not. Dame, this email apparently is from a unicorn, the one person that cares about other people's financial.
Yeah.
I'm calling BS. There's no human on the planet that's planning a wedding that cares about other people.
I don't think that's true. I think people start with good intentions and then realize that good luck. Like,
kudos for this person for not including the phrase "my day" in there anyway.
Oh wait, I feel like we owe disclaimers, don't we? No, I don't care if we get that email. Just like, hey, it is your special day. Damien, that's amazing. My day. Well, my special day.
It's the truth.
I know. Okay. Back in the day when I used to be a hot take machine, this was one of my favorite topics to get upset about. I think the whole marriage industrial complex is a sham.
The whole thing?
Oh.
Wedding industrial complex, not marriage. Sorry, Mrs. Planner. Good luck checking into that hotel tonight. Kristen, what just on the like do you think in general people ask others to spend too much money on their special day?
Yes.
Is it worse as a woman, as a man? Because as a man, it's a rented tux and maybe like a fill a flask. Like what is it as a woman?
It is worse because being the cost of looking great in photos that could exist forever is just higher for a woman. You have hair, you have makeup, you have all of the things. It's hard.
Wait, so I'm so in love with this conversation. Dame, we're going to talk about Kristen like she's not here for a second.
Okay.
Kristen's first point was the photography and the permanence of imagery as to why this is a problem.
There's a 50% chance that those pictures will be destroyed and never seen again.
I have never considered that the photography is the reason why this is so hard and expensive.
Male privilege.
Well, I mean, sure. So Kristen, let's go here for a second. There's the dress.
Yeah.
Like if you're a bridesmaid
or yeah.
There's the hair and makeup. And I feel like this has evolved as much as anything is the hair and makeup. And this is a person who has nor hair nor makeup on right now. What are we talking here? What is it? What are the dollars?
I mean, the spectrum can be so wide here. And sometimes as part of being in a wedding, there will be someone on site to help with hair and makeup, but that doesn't mean the maintenance that didn't get you to that point wasn't really expensive. Like you might have gotten your nails done, which could have been anywhere from like $50 to $100 because of the pictures. You could have gotten your hair changed a hair appointment, gotten your hair rehighlighted because of the upcoming event. So I don't know that it's even necessarily the day of. I think it's often the prep to get to that point too.
Dame, here's something we haven't even talked about. It's all of the rigmarole before the special day. The bachelorette parties, the bachelor parties, the trips, the showers. It's brutal. I feel like there's an entire city in middle America that is dedicated to bachelorette parties. Yeah. Nash Vegas, right? And so it's Kristen, what do you think? You're young and fun and people like you. What do you think the average bachelorette party costs an attendee?
Oh my word.
Ooh.
That's tough. I would say
500 minimum
at least.
What?
Because Dame, here's the thing, and it's not because I'm a creeper on Instagram. I have younger friends. I feel which part was the lie? They have like outfit nights. So there's like themes to each night of the bachelorette party. And it's not because I'm double clicking on these. It's just
time out.
Time out.
You
say each night of the bachelorette party?
Correct.
What?
Correct.
Yeah, there's themes each night and hashtags.
Didn't these things used to occur like over a 6 to 8 hour period, and that was it?
Oh, Damien.
Yeah, and they always ended in hash browns, not hashtags.
Yes.
It's terrible. Mess. It's not like that anymore. Not even close.
Okay, so the average young that goes to be part of a wedding, that's in the wedding party, you really are looking at least $1,000 for the bachelorette party. A young woman will go with here, $1,000. You're going to shower, right? You got to do you got to shower them with gifts.
Correct.
If it's a second wedding, is it a sprinkle just like it is for a second kid, or no? Kristen like that. By the way, let me just tell you about hosting a radio show with Kristen. She's a silent laugher, which does nothing. It doesn't
work.
So the impact of making her laugh is the same as not making her laugh, which is really good. So then we've got the shower. Kristen, what do you spend on a shower gift? You like a Subway gift card? What do you do? Like $50, $100?
$50 probably.
Okay. Then you got travel to the wedding if it is in fact a destination wedding. So we'll kind of set that aside. But then you got the special hair and makeup day and all of that. That's what, another few hundred.
Yeah, I think being a part of someone's wedding can easily be a $1,000 yes, easily.
Then there's the expectation that you give kind of a nice gift, right? Because you're part of their special day.
Right.
Oh man. So
We
what's our
didn't
point?
we didn't answer the question at all.
We'll do that after the break. We needed to vent. We needed to vent. Okay, so here's what we'll do after the break. This is a financial radio show. We will answer the financial question here from this person that probably doesn't exist because they're thinking of others. This is 2024, and that's an unusual thing to do. Speaking of unusual things to do, let's go to a break. Let's all calm down. And when we come back, we'll answer your financial questions. This is Peter Dunn, and let's get her done. What the hell's going on?
Stop. Please don't let me forget to tell you a story off the air, which is why I just lost it.
Okay, what's the topic? Will you forget?
I getting remarried.
Okay, great. Do you know what occurred to me this week? Hi, Caitlin. Do you know what occurred to me this week? Kristen, you might want to sit out this one for a second. Dame?
Yes.
And you'll understand why when I declare. Okay. You'll understand why. Do you realize how much of your life is just hair removal? Do you ever think about the amount of time and energy and effort your entire life is about hair removal? That's life. Life is about hair removal. That's it. That's all you do is a periodic hair removal. For some, it's a lot. For others, it's not. But you're always removing hair. That's what you do. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Thanks, God.
It's an interesting take. I would argue that some people have to spend far fewer amounts of their life on such endeavors, but
you and I are bald. Okay, so you and I are bald men by choice.
I still spend a lot of time
with hair removal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too. But even like the longs, like Kristen, she still does hair removal. Like she's still like removing some of those long hairs on her head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Kristen, you want to jump in?
Not really.
Okay. I don't know, Dame. I just think like there's entire hair removal industries. It's like it might be the dumbest part of life is hair removal.
So then is the hair removal industry, shouldn't they be subsidizing the hair growth industry on trying to find a fix for baldness, a cure for baldness?
Well, I think I've shared this with you years ago when I was a financial advisor. I had this one client and he was like, he had a rock yard. Like his yard, and this is not a euphemism. His front lawn was rocks, and I was like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Well, mowing the grass once you grow the grass is the dumbest thing in the world, and it actually might be the same argument as hair growth. So why would you go to hair growth places to then just cut it back off?"
Yeah, I've often contemplated trying to figure out a way to let part of my yard go native or wild or whatever you want to call it, just to kind of revert back to how it normally would be, and hopefully help honeybees and other things like that. But I just keep mowing it.
Dame, Kristen, sit out of this one. Dame, chin up on a man. You got the face. You got nose hairs. You got eyebrows.
Ears.
You've got ears. You've got a weird eyelash from time to time. And then you got the top of the head. You got the back of the neck.
Hair. Yeah.
It's like, what do we even have time to do? I've never read a book because of all the time I spend removing hair.
Well, you listen to him because you can't read because the hair just eventually grows over your eyes, and you have to try and figure out a way to consume that material otherwise.
In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Made it back to air by the hair of my chin. Kristen joins us to talk an email about weddings. What was the question about the wedding? So the person said, I'm getting married. My special day's coming. I feel bad about all the things I'm doing and making people pay for. Where was the question mark? Where was the interrogative?
the actual question was, how can I plan a memorable and beautiful wedding considerate of others' financial situations? How can I minimize their expenses without compromising the experience? Rooted in the fact that this person feels they can afford it, but that they're worried that some of the people they would ask to be a part of it can't.
Zoom.
A Zoom wedding.
I've been part of a Zoom wedding.
No.
I was during the pandemic.
Did you weren't the officiant of that wedding over Zoom, were you?
No, but I was. They did a real wedding
Later.
after
Yeah,
we
right.
were all sequestered. And I was the officiant of that wedding. Yes,
Yeah.
Kristen?
I was going to say there's a comment. Someone asked in the live stream, they said that they would like to hear feedback from couples who got married during COVID who had to scale back. Like, do they feel that they missed out, or are they glad they didn't spend that money? So interesting. I would love to know.
That's a great question, because at least the couple I'm talking about did the Zoom wedding, and then they did a tasteful, nice gathering after. But I don't know if the after was scaled back or not, or if it was bigger. Do you feel like weddings have come out of the pandemic bigger and badder than ever because people want to YOLO?
Yes.
I don't think I've been to a single wedding since the pandemic.
What?
Okay, so let's get controversial.
Oh no.
How much should a wedding cost, Dame?
I
Kristen, did you see her face?
Yeah. So, I mean, are we talking about like just the wedding and reception, or
Yeah.
No more than 10 grand, 7,500 tops. It's not impossible at all. People have way too high standards on what they want to try and do.
How many people are you going to feed? Where are you going to put them?
Where
Like, what venue are you going to rent, and how are you going to rent 100-person? Like, size of the wedding totally matters, but you cannot have a wedding over 100 people for less than 10 grand. I don't think.
Then don't have it over. Then don't have over 100 people.
Yeah, 100 people don't even like me.
What?
Yeah, like
what do you mean what? I mean, this if we're talking about trying to do something on an affordable basis, you're going to figure out, you run the numbers and say, all right, if I want to keep it under this amount of money, I'm probably only going to be able to have 100 people, and that's okay.
On the YouTube live stream right now, legendary listener Big Rick Swink recommends, if they have friends with pontoon boats, just do a pontoon boat flotilla wedding. Thank you, Big Rick Swink. $10,000 is put out as the marker of what a wedding should cost. So, Dame, we're talking church rental, if that is, the roof you want. We got does that include wedding dresses and flowers?
Yeah.
No
wedding
way.
dresses are involved.
Yeah.
Kristen, do you think if there is a bride involved in a wedding, do you feel like the bride should pay for bridesmaids' dresses?
Ooh.
It's a cluster of a topic today. I love it.
Yeah, it sure is. I think that's what's hard, is like, who can objectively afford it?
It's weird to commit other people to spending money. I think that's where I go.
Yeah.
I'm an old person. I was married in the year 2000. This is prior to, I believe, computers. And our wedding was nice. It was at a church, and then there was a country club reception, and or not even a country club. It was like a public golf course reception.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much it was, but it was lovely, but it didn't feel super expensive. Is it because that was in 2000 and I was 22 years old?
I got married in 2003, and we were under $5,000.
Yeah.
My thing is the food and the venue and the booze. I don't know how and I get it, you don't have to have all those things, but most of them do. I don't know how you do those things for less than that.
So it's the food and the rental space that's catching you,
I think. And I mean, have you also tried to book a photographer for anything in a really long time?
Okay, that's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. And I don't really know a lot about wedding photographers.
Thousands.
Yeah.
But okay, Dame, this is where the emails flow. Are you ready?
Yes.
Don't do it.
What does it really matter to have a good photographer? Like, I had a decent photographer, but it's over. Mm-hmm. It's the picture. You're going to look at it once a year max. No one cares. Get over yourselves.
Our photographer was average. But you know how many times exactly that we look at those pictures? Never.
It's a totally different time. You guys got married when they developed film.
That's so true.
This isn't the same.
Well, they can digitally alter your face now.
Yeah, that's true.
You hire
You don't need
hire a
makeup.
bot.
Yeah, you don't need makeup. They'll handle that in post.
You don't even need a camera. It's all AI photography now. Just put a picture, like your LinkedIn headshot, next to your person.
You don't have
to make it. Oh, sorry, Chris. Chris is a
No,
photographer. Chris is watching on Facebook Live right now. Sorry, Chris, I forgot. I forgot. But the work you do, Chris, I'm talking about everyone else. I told
everyone
you.
but Chris.
Chris, we love you. Sorry, Chris. Chris is a pet photographer. Chris, aren't you a pet photographer though? Like, I feel like you take
my people.
Yeah, Kristen would love you. I will say, taking pictures of pets is a lot harder than taking pictures of a bridal party.
True. Well, usually like the females are different. Like when you're in a wedding
Female
and
pets?
no,
Oh.
when you're in a wedding and you're standing with the bride and the women have it like all together, and then they're telling the men like, if you can't see the camera, they can't see you. It's like herding cats.
Can we talk financial things for a second on our financial radio show?
Perhaps, yeah.
I think the tough part about this is how long are you going to pay for it? Right? Because with people getting married a little bit older now than when Dame and I got married to other people, a lot of times you're seeing the person getting married handling more of the cost of the wedding as opposed to maybe a parent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can't say whether an older generation is more financially stable than a younger generation, but generally they are. So that's to say, like, Dame, how long would you reasonably want a person to carry the burden of debts from a wedding or the opportunity cost for more stability because of a wedding? A year?
Tops.
See, I think that's what's the most difficult is the opportunity cost becomes increasingly difficult to justify. Is instead of this $20,000 wedding, what could that money be used for when you're at a point in your life where there are so many demands from a personal finance perspective?
So I'm trying not to be rude. We're this time where it's very common and acceptable and arguably justified to point out how hard it is for Gen Z to get on their feet financially.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's interesting. But then when it comes to these special days, all bets are off and it doesn't really matter. You can spend whatever you want.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to make sense.
All right, we're old, funny. For what the record here, I've been married for 24 years, and she might regret it. Okay, coming up after the break, we have another topic.
Nah.
Right here on we've got more on the Pete the Planner Show. Come back. No more wedding talk. You can turn your radio back on, but you wouldn't know I said that because your radio. All that's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. There's Dame's birds. Let them fly, Dame. We got text messages this week about Dame's birds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do we have another topic?
Yeah.
Is this my old hot takes, or is that not ready?
We can. Yes. Yeah.
Chris makes my point. He used to be a pet photographer, but he gave it up because it's too strenuous. See, that's actually hard. He should be paid more than my point I was going to make is Instagram itself and its contribution to general vanity is what's made this so stupidly expensive. Because it's not just the wedding day where the pictures have to be perfect. It's the reason there's theme nights for bachelorette parties and bachelor parties is so you can show them to other people and acts of vanity.
That would be an amazing study, is to compare wedding and pre-wedding activity costs to the use of social media, that individual's use of social media. And if they use Instagram and other things a lot, do they have higher costs for events like this? Somebody do it.
If I can, did Rick just did kids these hashtag kids these days? Rick Swink.
Yeah.
Look, it is so hard to find a special person. It is so hard. Why make it about anything other than that relationship? That's my take. That's my old guy take. It is so hard. Why distract it with the opulence, you know? Anyway, there's my old guy take. Now, speaking of takes, Kristen, we're coming back with the dumb things I've said over the years.
I don't know that they're dumb. I've just pulled miscellaneous quotes from some old radio show episodes, and I think it'd be just interesting to hear them in 2024. Dame has access to it. I don't want to read them all. Dame has access to it too.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Can I have Dame just host this part then?
Oh.
Or do you want to host that part?
No, that's fine. Dame
you go back and forth. Well, no, I didn't. I thought you were bowing out of doing that.
Oh, no. Either one is fine with me.
Okay. Let's go. In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. You know, I've been doing the show for 15 years. I agree. The program director at most radio stations have poor taste. But today we are going to go back into the archives and we're going to find some things that I've said over the years that Kristen finds to be wholly objectionable. No, what's your take here on my takes?
I'm curious to see, we did a segment a couple weeks ago where it was something that you had softened on over the years. I don't remember. And I think it would just be interesting to see if you still agree with some of these things.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have at it.
Okay. So the first one is a good one. You said, quote, some of these are paraphrases and some of these are direct quotes.
I hate this already.
You said, quote, your grocery store trip is the opportunity to set financial standards for your life, end quote.
What a weird take.
And taken out of context, it's even better.
All right.
Okay.
Can we all equally evaluate whether that's dumb or makes sense?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Dame, what do you think?
I mean,
what do your birds think?
They're hungry, so they're all in favor of spending money at a grocery. I set standards for your financial life. I mean, you can absolutely influence your financial life by how much you're spending at a grocery store, but I mean, setting standards, I mean, that is very hot takey 2016-ish kind of stuff going on.
Do we know when that's from, Kristen?
It was from late 2016, early 2017. And to help, you followed that up with the grocery store every week gives you a chance to say how interested you are in staying on the path.
I agree with the second part more than the first part.
How much did you weigh in 2016, Pete? I'm just curious.
Oh man, probably for several stones. You know what? It's a bit much. I will go with that's a bit much, a little tidy, but arguably true.
I get the sentiment here because food spending gets so out of control so fast. And if you're not keeping an eye on it before you know it, your grocery bill that is probably one of the most common things at Your Money Line. When someone comes to us and they're trying to do a spending inspection, one of the most common things is, oh my word, I had no idea how much money we spend at the grocery store. So I fully agree with the sentiment. I just think that the approach of the take was questionable.
Yeah, I'm going to tell on myself a little bit. On Sunday afternoons, I will go to a very nice grocery store and I will buy a meal for that night. And it's a lot, but and so I think I try to think through the lens of, well, if we went out to eat at a moderately okay dinner, it would cost this much. But I can make it better than the moderately okay dinner we would eat out. So I don't know. I just want to try to at least be honest, right? Okay on that take. Okay on could they could get worse. What else we got?
Damien?
This one I think you will stand firmly by. This is a paraphrase. If you're a politician and you make bad personal finance decisions, I have a beef with that.
This had to have been through the Marco Rubio boat thing.
Oh, probably.
It literally was. It was that episode specifically that he bought an $80,000 boat and then had to liquidate his 401k.
He snorted. I you know what, Dame? I agree with that, but I'll extend a little grace, but I also want humility. I think there's a difference between buying a speedboat on a book advance when you had a bunch of debt versus someone recovers from a bankruptcy. It's the comeback story and how you talk about it more than it is the malfeasance. What do you
we had a story. Gosh, I think I was on the show regularly at that point in time. It was a local politician who had tens of thousands of dollars out in Parent Plus loans for their kids.
Yeah.
And I think we debated on numbers of shows, or at least brought it up in conversation on whether or not that made sense as a person in that position, in the position they were in. And I think it goes to show that everybody can be faced with the opportunity to make horrible, life-changing financial decisions. And as you said, it's all about trying to figure out, okay, if you find yourself there, how are you going to get out of it? Or are you just going to keep throwing more shovels of dirt out of that hole and getting deeper?
Yeah, there's a few different ways to look at that, right? There's two politicians that I know specifics around. Martin O'Malley was the former governor of Maryland, I believe.
Yep.
He had like 300 plus in Parent Plus loans, 300K plus.
Yay.
And then former Vice President Mike Pence had over 100,000 in Parent Plus loans. So there's, again, you can say it various ways of, wow, people of accomplishment and means even need to dip into Parent Plus loans to pay for college, right? And sort of like, wow, we've got a big problem here. Or you could also look at it as, if they're not willing to talk about that, and then they just, they try to create legislation or edicts that shut the door behind them, then that's problematic too. So I'm okay with that take. I'm okay with that.
Next take. This is quotes, so I have to trust that this was actually what you said.
I'm uncomfortable.
The standard in my house is, we're not going to have a car payment. We're just not.
Oh, Lord.
I rewound twice to hear that one.
What year was this?
It was right around the same time. It would have been 2016, 2017. Because I tried to go back before Dame, and pick up shows where you didn't have listeners on them, because I thought we would get more hot takes as you talked yourself into these positions.
Do you say I didn't have listeners? Is that what you said?
On the show,
no,
$1 million.
on the show, $1 Million Day.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, none of my shows have listeners. Here's the thing. My take on that is evolved based on cash flow. But this is what's dumb about giving mass advice, guys. The situation I was in at the time and how I felt, you give these big sweeping things that don't apply to everyone, and then you make people feel bad if it doesn't apply to them. So I regret that. I regret that.
I don't think there's anything wrong, because that is what you said. You said that, like, this is the standard. And to give more context, to be fair to 2016 Pete, you were talking about the importance of having standards in your financial life, similar to like lifestyle or philosophical takes that people have. Like, you gave the example that if someone's a vegetarian, they are just a vegetarian. Like, that's just who they are. And so you were talking about, these are you need to have similar takes with your personal finances. I do this or I don't do this. And at the time, it made sense for your financial situation.
Okay. Yeah, that was definitely the intent.
Yeah.
But again, the delivery on these, I can hear myself saying them back. Like, it is always harsher when you deliver edicts, boom. Okay. All right. Give me the worst one. Does anyone have the worst one?
Oh, I don't really want to do that.
Yes. Give me the worst one.
I don't want to say it.
Please do.
It's the last one, I think, Damien.
Dave
Your
will do it.
standard for how you feel about the future speaks to your maturity.
What does that even mean?
Okay, so
God,
you
I
were
hate
talking-
myself.
You were talking about the importance of saving for retirement and basically saying that if people didn't like put intentional focus there, that it was speaking to their maturity level.
Okay, well, once explained, I kind of agree. No, that's so over the top. Other than sometimes you just can't, and it doesn't mean you're immature. It just means the circumstances are. Man, I knew I have some hot takes in the past, but 2016, what was going on in my life? I had a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I was a hot take machine. Well, speaking of hot takes, coming up after the break, the biggest waste of money of the week. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the biggest waste of money of the week. That's my hot take. I'm Pete the Planner. I have, speaking of my propensity to make hot takes, and wait until I tell you two something right after the show.
Yay.
Well, Kristen's got a story. You've got a story. And I've got a joke that I couldn't make on the air.
Okay, so we each got one. Boy. Rick says, Pete, are the answers to your 2016 thoughts written on the ceiling?
Rick, have you missed some shows recently? That's been the theme.
I know. That's what he's saying. That's what he's it's callback. It's callback.
Piling on.
The feeling of being faced with a solvable problem and then it just getting out of your grasp because someone isn't willing to solve the problem, like writing your spouse's name on a hotel reservation, is one that will haunt me for years to come.
Yeah.
I can't get over it. I'm bothered by the societal idea that we are not empowered to solve problems. I hate that. And you guys know me on these things. I hate that.
That's an organizational issue, though. I mean, that could be fixed at a corporate level to have this I can't think of the word, which is great for radio, but just
policies.
Where everybody has, that wasn't it. My word was much better than that, but it's where you just go take initiative, fix problems.
Thank you.
Yeah,
let's do the show so we can save time to talk to each other about the good stuff after the show. All right, in 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week right here on the Pete the Planner Show is penny pound ice. A lot of care went into creating the world's best spirits. Don't ruin the experience with frozen tap water. Penny pound ice is thoughtfully made, perfectly clear ice worthy of your favorite spirit or cocktail. The company uses machines to constantly agitate the water as it freezes over the course of 3 to 5 days. A process that pushes all the impurities to the top. That section is then removed, leaving a 300-pound block of clear ice that's then cut down by hand. That seems sanitary. And in the case of the spheres, pressed or drilled pressed to create the final form. They offer everything from pebble ice and diamond-shaped chunks to cubes and spheres containing edible flowers, herbs, and even golf leaves. Oh, I think it's supposed to say gold leaves. With a way to go website. With a client list that includes some of the best bars in the area, their products are made for the discerning drinker and available delivery across Southern California. So, okay, how much does penny pound ice cost? I'm going to choose a shape, and then I will let you go here. A bag of 8 diamonds. Do you want to try to price that, or do you want to go with a bag of 10 spears? What do you want?
A bag of 10 spears.
Okay. A bag of 10 units, spears. How much?
Me or Damien?
Why you? We always go with you first.
Well, not always. Bag of 10. These are like, just so that I'm clear, these would be for the individual. Like, I get a spear for.
Yeah, it's like a highball glass, and you.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
They are $70.
Dame?
Pete, do you have any information on how they agitate the water?
I believe they just have like toddlers run their hands through the water.
Okay. All right. I will say 10 spears.
10 spears, bag of 10 spears.
$100.
Here's the thing. It's $15 and you're thinking, well, that's wildly affordable. But it just all seems like so much. Like it just like, I love good ice. Don't get me wrong. But you're shipping in diamond shaped ice and all these sorts of things. It just seems like that means you're serving 10 drinks. You're adding $1.50 of cost per drink. That's a lot.
I feel like Kristen and I were led astray or misled on this one before.
I think we were too. What's interesting is they filtered out the impurities, but then shipped it in plastic.
Dame, what's in the news this week?
Social Security's finances are in dire straits because soon they won't have money for nothing.
Not again.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you do that on your video this morning?
Yes.
Wow. Kristen, are you there?
What?
Oh.
He is not. It was
All
a
right.
song lyric. Dire straits.
Money for nothing.
Money for nothing.
I'll send you the link to the video. You will not believe it. It's like 8-bit video. It's crazy.
Nice.
That was so good.
Yeah. Anyway, an aging population is pushing up the cost of the program as a smaller share of Americans directly pay into it. That imbalance means that Social Security could become unable to provide full retirement and disability benefits to Americans in 2035, according to the program's trustees earlier this week. At that point, without congressional action, elderly and disabled Americans who rely on Social Security could see their payments cut by 17%. Congress could avoid this crisis by raising payroll taxes and trimming some of the benefits, or a combination of the two, but let's get honest, that's not going to happen. But they may not have to. The U.S. government will still likely be able to afford to pay the benefits to retired and disabled Americans in 2035. Whether it does so will, in some ways, be an accounting decision for lawmakers who control how money is classified within the government, and whether they want to tackle the tough questions about federal spending or sidestep the politically radioactive debate altogether.
Is this, Pete and I were having this conversation the other day about how sometimes when we're looking in the work that we do at people's personal financial lives, the decisions they're making today might not be what serve them long term, but they're really the decisions they have at the time, like the options they have at the time. And I don't want to give any more details because I don't want to provide any more insight into someone's situation, but like I almost feel like this is the same thing, but at the government level is like, this is not today's problem to fix, and so I'm not worried about it. This is a future political party's problem or future seats problem. Like, this is not my problem.
Yeah, this will absolutely get kicked until the very absolute last minute, and then if that doesn't work, maybe they just fire the printing presses up and money magically appears.
You know, the weirdest part about this is it takes someone with courage to solve this problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we all want this problem solved, but we don't want anyone to have the courage to solve it. And then when it doesn't get solved, people will say, why didn't anyone solve it? Right. It's just like, even if a person ran for president on this, they would lose so badly. Yet if they would win, they would fix the problem and avoid the unknown pain that will come. It's crazy.
Somebody has to be willing to be a one-termer. This is it. They're going to fix this, or they're going to end their career on making this the only thing that they get done. Well, maybe not the only thing, but the linchpin of what they are doing in their political career. And until then, until somebody's or a bunch of people are ready to take that stand, it's just going to get kicked down the road.
Because it will be interpreted as Peter Dunn wants to take money away from seniors.
Yep.
And it's like, no, I don't.
Or he's going to raise your taxes.
Peter Dunn's going to raise your tax. Here it is. I'm running for president. No, I'm not. I'm barely the president of our own organization. I believe that this problem will never actually get solved because no one, it's not even that they don't have the courage to do it, is their courage will be met with resistance. And so their courage is pointless. It's so frustrating. What else is in the news?
FTX's customers are getting their money back plus interest. This probably isn't an outcome that anyone would have bet on when the crypto exchange imploded in 2022, but attorneys for the bankrupt company say they found enough cash to pay back its customers with interest. The recovery of the crypto market plus the ability to sell assets like a stake in AI company Anthropic will give FTX as much as $16.3 billion to distribute. The plan still has to be okayed by a judge, though, but current CEO John Ray, who took over FTX after its collapse, noted, in any bankruptcy, this is just an unbelievable result. However, there won't be any money left for the investors who backed FTX.
There it is.
I was listening to an interview with Kevin Bacon the other day, and he was talking about how he and his wife, Kira Sedgwick, were major victims of the Bernie Madoff scandal, and they lost a vast majority of their money. And so what's interesting about this, you think about someone like Kevin Bacon, who literally has like 1,000 credits to his name. And his net worth right now is reported to be somewhere between $35 to $40 million or something like that. And hey, y'all, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then you compare it to people that might be his contemporaries, and they're at $200 to $300 million. Again, also a lot of money, tiny violins for everyone involved. And you're like, holy cow, most of these times in these scams, people are not even made close to whole. It is remarkable that FTX folks are made whole on this.
Yeah, completely unexpected, and I'm super happy for them. And it's working out just the way it should. Let the people who invest get their money back, and investors, you took the risk up front. You knew that this was a possibility, and you aren't going to get any kind of a return on it.
And it's with that we do all we can, and all we can do is send you good vibes. Because good vibes are all that's in the budget. If you're planning a wedding for this spring, summer, fall, or winter, please know it is about the marriage. It is not about the party. I'm Pete the Planner. Stay classy. Don't laugh over my line. It was no, I'm kidding. Sorry. I don't feel there's no topic that makes me feel older than complaining about weddings. You know, like it makes me. What do you say?
Prenups.
It doesn't make me. I see the prudence of prenups. I don't see the prudence of $100,000 wedding.
I think those are few and far between.
Oh, look at we got. You got knowledge here being dropped on us. This is common in a lot of financial bankruptcies. You aren't getting the asset share in Amazon Bitcoin, but are getting the value of the asset at the time of bankruptcy. Look at that. Thank you for that contribution. Chaitin? Sorry, I mispronounced your name. Probably dead. Okay, everybody. Well, now did it not feel like I talked for like 11 minutes to start the show, and we're still 2 minutes under an hour. How?
I wasn't yapping.
Okay. Well, everybody, this has been lovely. Stay getting money.